At 50, I woke up when my aunt stood there and said, Wendy, you're at 50. You've got 10 years left. I hope you have enough saved up for your retirement. And that's when I woke up. I was like, your retirement says, hi, I'm here. What do? Can have these grand plans for retirement, for whatever. If your finances are not great, then you are not going to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. If you hold on to, we've been doing it like this for the past 30 years, you are.
Welcome to another edition of Mindset Profits. Here's a frame, something painful that I've been thinking of lately. Someone out there is watching this and they realize I'm in my 40s, and when I look at the bank, I feel like I'm a failure. I've been failing. Someone is in their 50s and they feel like time is running out. I look at the bank and I feel like I'm failing. This is going to be one for you because I want you to tap into my faith, because I believe it's not yet over for you. You can start over in your 40s, you can start over in your 50s, but I'm not going to do this alone. I am with the author of I Wish Someone Had Told Me, Umam Wendy Selebi, and this is going to be mentorship time. Hello, ma.
Hello, Ntando, and thank you for having me.
What do those words make you feel?
Your opening words, they really remind me of a time and a space where I looked at my age and I thought I'm failing. So those that are watching, that are in their 40s and their 50s and they think they're failing, they're not.
I like it because even in your book, the start to your book, you talk about this. You say, I reached a moment in my life where I was reflecting on where I am, how old I am, and realizing retirement is not too far. And a lot of what-if questions came into your mind. One of them that sticks out was, what if I outlive my pension, my payout? That hit home. I had never thought of that there are people that actually could outlive it. The payout finishes and you're still alive.
Yeah.
And there's no more money coming.
Yeah. So, Ntando, remember that our context is not the same where we come from. In my family, people live longer. My paternal grandmom passed away at 103.
Wow.
On my father's side, yes, my aunts right now, they're going for their 80s towards their 90s. On my mom's side...
So that was a real question for you.
Her elder sister, she's alive right now. She lives in Canada. She's 92 and going strong. So those questions became a reality for me. When I look at it, when I look at inflation, when I look at the possibility that I might live up to 90, 103, will this money be sufficient? That is the question. And I think for someone who is sitting and watching us, they need to think about that. Look at your family lineage and history and check.
How long do people normally live?
Yes, because the money does run out, especially if you don't have the financial skills to manage it. Think about it.
We're going to get into some of the skills and how someone in that position can help themselves.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the beginning where you say it's not about the goals first. It's about understanding the truth and being honest with yourself. Where are you right now? Looking at your life without shame, without hiding and saying, because many people are afraid to look at the bank statement, for example.
Yeah.
You bury your head in the sand and pretend the empty bank balance means nothing. It will be well with you one day. Yeah. And you're not realizing that you are in your 40s, you are in your 50s. A shift has to happen in how you think about this.
Yeah.
When you look at yourself, your situation, you said when you did the reflection, one thing you realize is when you got the first job and there was a high payoff, you got so excited, you signed the contract without reading, you were realizing that I made decisions 20, 30 years ago. I'm paying for them now.
Yes.
And that's the truth we're talking about.
Yep.
Understanding where you are and what got you there. Talk us through that phase. Getting your first job, the high salary that you were talking about, and decisions that came that you probably were going to regret later.
Yeah. So, I mean, Ntando, when I started working on the 1st of May, 1985.
This is 1985.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no Google. There were no podcasts. Information was not there. I was fresh from school. I didn't even know what the difference is between a pension or provident fund. And of course, the person that was onboarding me did not even offer to explain what that meant. So every decision I was making that day was guesswork. So for those that are watching today, they have no excuse. They can make the mistakes that I made then 38 years ago or 40 years ago, because today there is so much. There's podcasts like yours and many other information out there. But when I was making those decisions, I didn't even understand my consequences were those decisions until much later. I think 20 years later. And I mean, think about it. If for 20 years you've been contributing minimum towards your retirement and so on, you've lost out on that growth, on the power of compounding interest.
And tax benefits.
Yes. So when I came to that realization, which is a critical message I want to leave with those that are watching us, is that the time that you find out what your financial situation is, it is not doom and gloom. There's still opportunity for you to can do something to buy back the time, to accelerate and try. You will never reach those milestones you would have reached if you had the
started early.
Yeah, the wisdom, but you can still buy back time. So basically, failure or maybe lack of financial knowledge is not fatal. What is fatal is if you hear that and then you take that ostrich mentality and you bury your hand in the sand and you think things will go away. That is where danger is. And also, you mentioned my salary. By the way, the salary was nothing. But at the time...
How did it get you so excited?
It got me excited because then the cost of living was next to nothing. I mean, the salary was about 600 rand at that time. Then 600 rands was like 60,000. So I calculated quickly in my head, I'll be able to buy 2 pairs of shoes. I'll be able to give the money at home. I'll be able to have money for transport. I still have money. 600 rands, you could do a lot. So why am I bringing it up? Because today, abantu bathola 6 figures and whatever, and you can think, it's a lot, and you think that, you do your mental accounting and you think that you are okay. No, it needs you now, no matter what the amount is, to be mindful and to really apply a lot of prudence to Leoman.
When you look at some of the mistakes, I'll pick on one of the mistakes that you speak about, because when I was reading that part, it reminded me of my life. The power of the words that parents speak to kids, that parents can hypnotize you, sometimes to good, but sometimes to bad, or things that you can't afford. I was remembering this one time that my dad was saying, Ntando, if you want, I'll tell you the secret to buying a car, like owning a car. And this is me in high school, later years of high school. And he says, if you want to buy a car, the law of attraction says you go and get a license. And when you get a license, you're going to attract cars. I believed it. So as soon as I finished high school, that was a priority. I think as soon as I finished high school, I got the driver's license. I did get the many cars later. Until this one time, I was sitting and thinking, why did I believe him? Because when he told me this, he didn't have a car, but he had the license. He had the driver's license.
Yeah.
The words of my father were that powerful. I didn't even question them. I believed them and just actioned it. It worked for me, but I always think, why did I believe him when it wasn't, that same principle wasn't working for him at the time? And I listened to you talking about your dad always build you up, and you're saying there's only one brand, a Mercedes brand of a car. I see you're still driving a Mercedes Benz. And you say his words were so powerful, it reflected in the car that you buy later, but when you bought it at the time, it put financial strain.
Yeah.
I think I'll let you speak from your heart on this one.
Yeah. So words are powerful. They are a creative force. Whatever things that you say, they manifest. And so our parents, because we love them and we trust them, whatever words they speak, we want to also please them. So we live out what they said. And they say what they want to see happen to you. Like, that's what my dad did. He would speak the things that he was prophesying, so to speak, what he wanted to see happen in my life. However, he did not give me a roadmap yokuthi financially how do you achieve these things. He just spoke from the heart, and I know ukuthi nabo during their time they didn't have financial literacy. There was no one who spoke to them about financial literacy. So he just spoke, and what those words did, they lodged in my subconscious mind, which is a recording device, records everything. And so as I was doing life, those words were propelling me. So when I wanted to buy a car, I would see cars, but they were not the brand.
They were not Mercedes.
It was in there. And my dad would not be proud. So I also wanted to live out what my dad wanted me to achieve. So words, parents must be very careful about the things that they say. Even little things, hey, Kandel, cool.
Big head.
Yeah, big head. And then it lodges in the child, and then it starts affecting
the self-esteem.
Yes, their self-esteem. And when you are just saying because maybe they annoyed you or whatever. So it's so critical as parents that we must be mindful, because those words shape the destiny of your child.
You know what I think when you say that? There's someone who's probably in a financial mess right now because they made decisions and bought things they couldn't afford, but the driving force was that, where parents or the people that you trusted sort of hypnotized you into a way of thinking that sets you up for failure. And now in your effort to try and please them, you don't realize that that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you're in trouble now because people put words in your life that you're trying to live up to.
So, my dad's words still impact me now, today. As much as I am so aware of financial literacy, I'm an expert in it, I teach others, I speak about it, I still can't move away from the brand thing.
You can see.
It is, and I do need a new car. But I've told myself, I'm going to wait until I can afford it. Now, at least I'm applying a lot of financial prudence in that I'm realizing I'm on retirement, so I can't take a car loan. So if I buy a car now, the same brand, I have to buy it cash. So I'm working around that. So something has moved, has shifted. My mindset has shifted. Hey,
love it.
My mindset has shifted in that I can't move away from the brand. I'm stuck. My dad's words, like it's there and I can't move. I can't shake it. I can't do anything. But what has shifted is that I now know the financial principles, the right principles that I must apply to access that brand. So it has taught me patience, because now I'm patient.
You'll wait for it.
I'll wait for it.
it's interesting that you say that. And we're going to do an episode around that actually, because cars have been one of the top, I think close to number one, stealers of financial freedom for people. There are people that have been 20 years on a payment for a car because 5 years when they finish paying, either there's a balloon payment that's left or they feel the need to upgrade. They get bored every 2-3 years. They don't run the numbers to realize that a car that's quoted at 300,000, you pay 500,000-600,000 when you finance it. And every time you keep upgrading, you are losing a whole lot of money. They're not running the numbers.
I was that girl.
You were that girl. Always upgrading and changing.
Upgrading. And it was so refreshing even for me. I was shook when I was going on retirement. Everybody expected me to buy the latest and whatever. And when I was not moving, people were asking me, how? Are you not buying a car? Pressure, external pressure. Are you not buying a car?
We know you are this person.
I was like, no, what's wrong with my car? And the more I said that, the more those words were really now lodging to say, you don't need a car. This car is perfect. Drive it. And I would say to people, I'll only buy a new car when it stops on the highway and I'm embarrassed and they say, Ma, this car is really now a wreck. Yeah. Only then will I buy another car. And I'm sticking to that.
Well, we are far from there. But two things happened to me at 40.
Yeah.
I want you to hear your words, your take on this. One of them was, well, a funny one. I even posted about this. For some reason, the years seem shorter. Time flies. I feel like time is flying. I hit 40 and the year feels like it was 6 months or something. Yeah. Maybe it's in my head or we do a time distortion or something. Or maybe I'm just having too much fun now after 40. But the other thing is there must have been a shift. I don't know if it's 40, 41, 39, a shift where the pressure to please people sort of went down. I don't care anymore that I've had a car for 5-6 years. That pressure that was driving me before, is it something that happened? You have spoken to a lot of people that pass through their 40s. Do you see that, or there are people that don't recover from the need to please people?
Yeah. Hey, people pleasing. It's a topic for another day because it also connects to our money archetype, which is a topic for another day. Yeah. That's why they say life begins at 40. Because the first 39 years, you are really trying to find yourself. You are a people pleaser. You are fleshy. You actually are not sure. You know, when they say, we are going to the left, you are going to the right. You are making so many mistakes, relationship-wise, financially, everywhere. Just like a life cycle of a product. When it starts off, you know, there's so many things. And when you reach 40, you reach your plateau, your peak. Yeah. And you soon realize, Guti, after 40, it's downhill. While you're still climbing, it's okay. We're still climbing the mountain, you know. That's why they say it's easy to climb the mountain, but difficult to descend. Because once you reach that age, you realize, Guti, now I am on a downward spiral. Whether I like it or not, I am no longer regressing. You can't regress to being 16 or 30 or whatever. So you can't make those mistakes. And I hope that people that are watching us right now can get to that point that there is a certain level. When you reach a certain age, you have to shed things like people pleasing, and you have to come to that realization, Guti, there's no more turning back. I have to fix things now. And so I reached that stage, and I think the wake-up call for me came at 50, at my birthday. It's in the book. You know, it's in the book. Okay, probably I was no longer buying cars like I used to and stuff like that, but at 50, I woke up when my aunt stood there and said, Wendy, you're at 50. You've got 10 years left. I hope you have enough saved up for your retirement. It was a subtle message. We don't want you knocking at our doors asking for handouts and stuff like that. We hope that your finances, and that's when I woke up. I was like, okay, let me just make sure that all is well. So I had been paying attention, but I was not diligently paying attention. And that, wake-up call helped me so much.
When we get to this section where the wake-up call has happened, and I want someone who's listening who is at that place, in that season, I want them to answer the question, what now? What do I have to change? Where do I start? For you, when you came to the realization that this money might not outlive you, the payout, what did you start working on?
So the first thing that I did was to ascertain, Guti, where am I?
Yeah.
And that is the fear you spoke about earlier, which people are afraid to look at. Yes, because you are afraid at what you will see and stuff like that. And that's the first thing I did. I contacted, I was seeing those statements, but I didn't pay too much attention. I just saw the big numbers and I was like, I'm a billionaire, but I didn't really apply with what does that mean.
Yeah.
So that's the first place I went to. And it showed me where I was. And once you understand where you are, you need to go back and check, how did I get here? What are the things that I have been doing that have brought me to this place so that when I move forward, I shed the bad things that I was doing, hold on to the good things, and build more good things. That's what I did. And I think it's a good place of acknowledging. That is why even when people go to Alcoholics Anonymous, they say the first place to start is for you to acknowledge.
Tell the truth.
Acknowledge.
I am
this.
an alcoholic.
Yes. And then you are able to say, okay, how do we move forward? That is very, very powerful. So for someone who's watching us, do that.
And when you look at where you are now, I know you said you looked at how you got here. What are the bad things that you did that got you to that position? And also, someone needs to understand what are the good things that I did not do.
Yes.
Because when you arrive at this age, 40, 50s, there's this particular set of skills that you've accrued, that you've acquired. And you need to be responsible or accountable to the fact that you are at this level in terms of skill. Skill in using technology, there's skill in communicating, there's skill in working with, building relationships and leveraging. You have certain skills. You worked on getting those skills over the past 10 years. You might realize that I actually have not been acquiring skills. I have the same skills I had 10 years ago because I have not been intentional at understanding what are the skills I need to make more, to be more relevant, to be more valuable. And when you start to do the reflection, besides looking at the bad habits that you have that probably got you in trouble, I think it's also important to add those good habits that you didn't introduce.
Yes.
And so now you're here and you don't have skill.
Yeah.
Because I think it hurts more when you don't see, you can't place a hand on what should I do.
Yeah. When you define financial literacy, it's the ability, it's having the skills and the knowledge, skill and knowledge to make the right financial decisions so that you can be comfortable with the consequences of your decisions. Because every financial decision you make has consequences, either negative or positive. So that's where I started. Remember, by the time my aunt was saying this and when I reached 50, I was already a seasoned financial literacy expert.
You were doing this at work.
I was teaching others, but it was more giving others, but not directed at me. So after I had seen Uguti, there were some bad habits and so on, I became so much closer to my financial planner. Like I would talk to him all the time, I started doing more research. I started learning, empowering myself. I started asking, I became everything now that I was researching, that I was telling others, was starting with me. That's why they say it starts with you before you can give it to other people. So
that's powerful.
Today, there is so much that is out there. No one has an excuse, Yoguti, I didn't know. There is AI. And I didn't know anything about AI. I was fearful about it. And people were saying, AI. And everybody was worried, they're coming to take our jobs and whatever. And you know what? I've gone out there to learn about how to use it at my age.
What are you using it for? I'm curious.
So I'm in our studying now. I've just finished my master's. 2 weeks back, I got my results. I was doing my master's. Thank you. And a guy at church told me about AI. I didn't even know. When I told him that I'm studying and whatever, he said, we were at the parking lot at 6 a.m. in the morning at church. And he said, no, there's ChatGPT now. You can put in your topic and then it will write your abstract. I'm like, no, that doesn't sound right. Just from an ethical perspective. I said to him, no, that doesn't sound right. He said, no, you don't have to copy word for word, but you can use it to help you. So for a long time, I was like, no, this thing is dangerous. This is pure laziness and everything else. But as soon as I started doing my work and I was doing things the long way, and people were saying, no, you can use AI to help you, to channel you. You don't copy what they're saying or ask them to. You still do the work. So that's what I did. I would do my work. I was even using Copilot. Hey.
You've gone that far?
I've gone that far. I'm a pensioner who's on fire. So I then learned how to use it the right way. Let me do my work and just take it there for grammatical errors, for it to just shape. It's still me, it's still my work, it's still my voice, but it just puts it in a nicer way for me. And that's how I use it. So I'm saying to someone that's watching us, there is so much out there around investing. There's so much out there about pension preparation, about saving, about life under general. There's so many different, I watch so many podcasts. I even watch finance podcasts. As much as I'm knowledgeable, there's never a ceiling of the knowledge that you have. The day you stop learning is the day you become illiterate.
Thank you so much. I was thinking on my way here of this, the fact that if I am in this season of my life and I find myself broke, I don't have the luxury of experimenting on things that don't have a long-term payoff. Like, I need to know what skills I need to acquire now that will keep me relevant in the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And the number one skill that kept popping up as I was reflecting on this is what you're talking about. Learning how to learn.
Yeah.
Learning how to learn quickly.
Yes.
Learning how to love learning.
Learning how to be agile, how to be adaptable to the change that is happening around you. If you hold on to, we've been doing it like this for the past 30 years, you are doomed.
That's a cool one. It's powerful. I think I landed there more because there's a time in my life where I was really, really broke. I had lost everything. And in bouncing back, the thing that turned the lever that moved the needle the most was learning. Yeah. Going back to the foundations of just reading books, listening. I wasn't checking podcasts then, but I was watching Jim Rohn and listening to these principles from the books, from seminars, learning in that season of my, that's about 15 or so years ago. And I remember giving a talk and saying what a difference 10 years can make.
Yes.
Because 10 years ago, I was discouraged, I was disillusioned about my life and the future, I was depressed, I was divorced, a whole lot of dangerous deeds. But what got me out, I think what moved the needle the most in that season was learning how, no one told me that this would work. But I felt at the time I was under pressure and I didn't have a choice. This was the only thing available to do, learn.
Yeah.
And I did. And boy, did it work. And the talk I give is what a difference 10 years can make, because 10 years I was that guy, 10 years later I'm a whole different animal. Reinvention happens along the way because I learned.
Yeah.
And that's powerful that you're saying.
Yeah. And let me tell you, even with my aunt, the talk that she gave me, between 50 and 60, what I did in 10 years, hey, I'm thinking, hey, man, so I could do this much in 10 years, because I think once you change your mindset, once you change the way you are thinking, your outlook, and you go out there and you are hungry, you'll be amazed. And one of the things is to read books, watch podcasts, go and just learn. You can transform your life to levels that you never thought. And you are a testament to that. And I'm a testament to that.
When you look at your 10 years, are there things that stand out that really, really worked for you?
Things that stand out.
Besides learning, I know there had to be learning along the way. Is there anything else that stands out that move was a really great move and a great decision?
I became very intentional, especially with my finances. Like everything I was doing, I was thinking about. I became aware that you can have these grand plans for retirement, for whatever. If your finances are not great, then you are not going to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. And so I became very intentional. I became, I can say, obsessed with my finances, and it paid off because I cut out things I didn't really need. For example, the need to buy a new car, like I used to every 3 years.
So there were some habits that you started shedding.
I was shedding things, and actually, in the last 5 years of those 10 years, I started giving birth to a new vision, because I realized this one that I had was coming to an end. And if I didn't give birth to something new, I was going to die with the old vision.
Don't rob us, Ma. What was the old vision? What was the new one?
The old vision is that from the time you are a young girl, you have this vision. I want to go to school. I want to be successful. I want to buy a big house. I want a hunk of a husband. I want to be successful. So your vision board, everything is on that. And so just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you start at the bottom. You climb, you climb.
Keep up to actualization.
When you reach your age 60 or whatever, you are right at self-actualization. You've achieved everything. You have the house, you have the career, you have the children, you have everything. And then while you're right at that peak, retirement says, hi, I'm here. What do you do? Either you fall hard from that top right to the bottom and die, or before you fall, you think, what am I going to do? Who am I after this 60 years? Yes, because the first 60 years I ended up as executive of financial wellness.
Hela.
Trustee of this and that and that and that and that. When the last day comes, who am I? Because many people also build their identity. They link their identity to who they are, to their career and everything. So when it stops abruptly, what is your
Who
new
do you
vision?
become?
Yes. So in those last 5 years, I thought about who am I going to be? Hey, what am I going to do? What am I looking forward to? That's why I only started studying at 55. I went to Bible school. I did theology.
Okay.
I thought, okay, I love teaching. I want to lecture. That was the new vision. Because the old one, I've achieved. I've got the kids. I've got the what. It's coming to an end. So I gave birth to a new one. While I was still there, the last 5 years, so I went to Bible school, I studied, and then I worked it out. Okay, and when I finish work, I'll be doing my honors, then I'll do masters, who knows, maybe PhD. That's the vision I'm living in now. That is
to
what
become
is
Mom Wendy, the teacher.
the lecturer, and I'm also giving back through the podcast, through my book, through the teachings that I'm doing. So everything, the new vision is around that empowerment about teaching. So that is what is carrying me right now. I'm alive, as you can see me right now.
You're on fire now.
Yes, because I gave birth to a new vision.
Talk to us about the books. The books, there's the book that I mentioned.
Yeah.
I wish someone had told me there is now the workbook.
Yeah.
How did the two happen?
Yeah, so the book, I wish someone had told me. I was just sharing the money mistakes that I made and the wisdom lessons that people can learn and apply. But one of the things that I then began studying a lot and got exposed to, that I'm even pursuing now, is behavioral science, behavioral economics. Why do we have so many grand plans, but we never get to fulfill them? It's the gap between your intention and your actions. And so after I'd written this book, a lot of people were coming back to me and saying, we read your book, we're inspired, but we are failing at keeping up with the budget. We are falling by the wayside. And so I thought, it's the action intention gap that they speak about in behavioral
The
science.
intention is good.
Yeah.
It's grand.
Yeah.
The action does not
In
match.
between, yes. So I thought, okay, let me write a workbook that bridges that you can now literally work through everything. There's in that book, in that little workbook there, you can craft your vision for 2026. You can set your goals in there. There's a budgeting template. You can check what your money personality is, because that makes you aware as you are doing, it also helps you with your, as you fall by the wayside, you realize, it's because my personality is this. Let me bring myself back. So you write there. So it's really a practical. I didn't want it to be electronic because electronic things, you sit on your laptop, means nothing. If you sit and you're writing, the things are talking back to you.
It hits home.
Really? Really? Can't you see you're skating, dear Wendy? So
I see here with the spending plan, the life stages, destroying the debt yoke.
Yes.
So there's a plan for destroying debt.
Yes, I've got some powerful strategies of, if you find that you are highly indebted and you want to do something in 2026, you can use those strategies to get out of debt while you're still saving and building something for yourself. So I'm sharing that.
For someone who's in debt now, before they buy the book, can you share just one of them?
Yeah.
One of the things that, a low-hanging fruit, something they can do to get going now?
One of the things you can do to get going is, firstly, acknowledge that you are in a mess. Yes, and acknowledging where you are is so powerful, because it helps you to move. It brings you, it jolts you to reality, and then you move, and then you say, okay, I'm in debt. What am I indebted with? Sometimes we're in debt, we don't even know who we owe, what we owe, and what the magnitude is. So in this book, I give you the opportunity to write your debt. Take a pen, take a paper. I owe my number one. I owe them 40,000. They are charging me 45% interest. This is my installment. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. When you get to number 10, you already know, Guti, I am in big trouble. However, I give there's the snowball one or whatever, where you start with, you look at your debts, you think, which debt is the smallest that I can attack and easiest that I can attack? And then as I pay it off, it gives me that confidence, which, if I can pay this one off, I'm going for the next one. I'm going for the next one. So I provide those kind of strategies to say, when you are highly indebted, don't try and pay off the big debt first. Maybe try with the smallest one. If it's 1,000 rand, you tell yourself, I'll pay it off in 6 months. 6 months, when you've paid it off, you're like, yeah, I did this. You celebrate, you buy yourself a cool drink, nothing hectic, and you attack the next one, and you attack the next one. So the book gives you that opportunity to do that.
I love it. I'm actually thinking and reflecting while you're talking about it, that actually that's the approach that I used. I used the snowball approach because I realize now that it feels different to you to realize that you were owing 18 people. Now you owe 6 people. You feel different about yourself.
You feel light. You feel excited. Good, yeah? You sleep better. The 087 numbers, now they don't even use 087. They use 064, 063. So you don't know who is calling you. Yeah. So there's a reduction in that. You sleep well. When your money comes in, it lasts longer in your account. And you're thinking, wow, my money used to be finished by the 10th. Now it's lasting up until the 18th. Oh my goodness. So if I were to pay one more, it will last me up until the 25th. Wow. If I pay 2 more, it will last me until the 30th. What a victory. That I should have money from the 1st to the 31st. Wow. I started with just having money for 10 days. The other 20 days I was borrowing.
That is so deep. You're actually inspiring me to share even that story. I think I'll create something to share the story of how I got out of debt.
Please do that.
And one of the things, maybe for someone before I share, one of the principles that absolutely changed my life was exactly what I shared earlier, shedding off the need to please people.
Yes.
Because I've got, for example, 2 cars now that I paid off. And there's a time that I wanted to buy another one, and I called myself out on the same advice. Do I really need to? You start to realize it's not necessary. You're good with the ones you have.
Yeah, you're very good. It's just that there's this thing in our mind, in our heads, that tells us, like every time we ladies go to a wedding, we want a new dress. What's wrong with the other dresses? Who saw them? Because you wore the dress to one wedding where there was a different set of people. Now you're going to another wedding. They don't know you there. The people that are attending don't know. So I've started rationalizing like that. No, why must I buy another dress? Oh, I am going to wear this one twice or 3 times. It's okay. If I've worn it, I think what's killing us is also social media. Because you wear this dress, you post yourself, Now you're afraid to wear it to the next event because you can't post in the
They'll
same
say,
dress.
we remember that dress. It was in the other wedding. You wore it to the other wedding.
But really, really, I think what has helped me a lot, every time I want to buy something now, it is now embedded. I stop and I ask, do I need it? Or do I want it? And then I think, I really need it. The voice says, no, you need it. Then I'll say to the people, okay, let me go home and sleep on it. I'll come back tomorrow if I really need it. When I get home, I realize, I actually don't need it. I don't go back. The following day, I don't.
As we close, and thank you so much. This has been the masterclass, the mentorship I was hoping it would be. So thank you, ma'am. I want you to speak as we close to hoarders, people who are in trouble because they buy, and don't realize that the nice handbag that you're buying, you only get to use like once in 3 months. And after that, it's piling dust somewhere, even if it's in a nice shelf that doesn't have dust, but the metaphor still applies. Because there are many hoarders like that right now when they move, a whole lot of their things need to be in storage, but expensive things. and they can't let them go because of how much they spent to acquire them. So they're caught in that position. You can't let it go because it's just too expensive. You have too many cars. You can't sell them because they'll sell at a very low price relative to what you spent, but they are draining you. People who are in trouble and in that position. Hoarders.
There is something that happened somewhere, either when they were growing up or an experience that they had that led them to be hoarders. You are hoarding because of fear. Fear that, maybe as an example, when I grew up, at home we were very poor and so on. And so you tell yourself as you're growing up, Wuti, when I start working, I will never, ever be that poor again. Never. So where does it lodge? Subconscious mind. It's there. You are living it. So as you're working, and of course, you become good with money. You become an expert saver. You've got millions in the bank. You love waking up in the morning looking at them, but you live a miserable life, some of the hoarders. Others, they are buying and keeping. The fear of losing, because if they lose those things, then it's going to take them back where they started. So they are living out this thing, Yoguti, I never, ever want to be poor again. So for hoarders, it's different reasons for different hoarders. But the challenge for hoarders is that those who have and are not spending and are just watching the money, but they're living a miserable life, I'm here to tell you that you are going to die and leave everything. And so better start spending responsibly and enjoying what you have. For those who are hoarding unnecessarily, start thinking about giving up some things to open up an opportunity for new things. You know, it's a principle of reciprocation that I talk about when I talk to people. If your hand is tight-fisted like this, that's hoarders.
Yeah.
Nobody can put anything new in here. But when you open your hand and you give out, there's an opportunity for something new, something richer, something more fulfilling to be put in your hand.
Thank you so much, man. I'm wishing you all the best with the podcast.
Thank you.
We'll link it up so people can find you as well and show you some love. But we appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really had a great time.
Thank you for being there still this time. See you in the next episode. Show us some love. We will link up a website for you to access the book and the podcast so you can follow Wendy. Thank you.